It's Wednesday, the 28th day of March, 2012. Welcome to another edition of INFOWARS Nightly News. Coming up tonight, Michigan militia are cleared of plotting to overthrow the government despite massive undercover FBI operation. You'll see the footage where I predicted that the feds were preparing to set up Hatari and had infiltrated the group. Then, U.S. military funds effort to hack video game consoles. Then in medical news, a new Superman drug has been found that allows humans to add muscle at an incredible rate. It's been going on for weeks, and now the booms are getting louder. They've returned to Clintonville. We'll report. Meanwhile, one lonely senator stands in the way of war. Rand Paul is blocking sanctions that he says could lead to war with Iran. And then finally, best-selling author and anti-globalist researcher David Icke will join us for an in-depth interview.
The thing that people need to understand more than anything else is all this conspiracy, all this enslavement. It is not a bloody game. It's real. And if we don't focus on that and focus our lives on it, we're going to regret it for the rest of our lives.
First off tonight, we're going to look at the Hatari militia. This has been going on for a few years. And here's the headline: Michigan militia are cleared of plotting to overthrow the government despite massive undercover FBI operation. And it turns out there was an FBI agent inside the group. That's just the patsies they arrested on screen, and at least one informant. This is the type of operation they run routinely just to create headlines about domestic groups that want to kill police. Turns out none of them ever on the tapes talked about killing police. The FBI agent informant got them to talk about during a total collapse, if the government tried to come and take their private property or enslave them, that they might have to defend themselves. We have that discussion every day on the radio. And we're seeing some good action out of the federal judge. They had one federal judge a year or so ago say the case was bull, and now this judge is ordering all the major charges dropped except for weapons charges. And I've seen this before with the Branch Davidians. Walter Smith, the federal judge, ran their criminal trial. And when they were found not guilty of killing federal agents and all this garbage, then they said, but you're found guilty of using guns in the commission of killing federal agents. But they were found not guilty. The Supreme Court ruled to release them, and the Justice Department didn't. It took them 4 years, and then another case 6 years, to finally release people who were total bystanders and weren't involved in any of it on record. So don't think the Hatari will be getting out anytime soon, because the feds basically do whatever they want. The courts be damned sometimes. But let me give you now the rest of the story. I saw a video close to a year. It was like, what, 9-10 months before Hatari got busted, with a guy in a mask, with a helmet, with a machine gun, with a guy behind him wearing a gas mask. And I said on air, it turned out this guy was part of Hatari, I said, if this isn't a government setup, I don't know what is. This looks exactly like the grandson of the former head of the ADL, Adam Gadon, formerly Adam Perlman, who's the head of Al-Qaeda now. And we've, of course, caught the government uploading the Gadon videos with the Al-Qaeda logo and the government logo in the same video layer. They made it. It's amazing how dumb they think the public is. And since then, that's come out that not just that guy, but Anwar al-Awlaki and others are government agents. When I saw this, my gut, which is just my subconscious mind, much more powerful than my conscious, immediately said, that's it. This is some type of setup. Either this guy was paid to do this by somebody who was directing it, or he's an informant or an actual agent, but definitely an asset. And I called him out. And that's in a previous video to the August 17th, still months before Hatari got raided. And they weren't even using the name Hatari then. And we've got articles that break all of that down. But I want to go ahead and go to a clip where I am interviewing the guy that went by Pale Horse. Christopher Sickles is his real name, who ended up being arrested along with the rest of Hatari. And again, I've never before or since pointed at a militia group and said that's an infiltration setup out of thousands of groups. I saw this, it popped out like a Cracker Jack, Danger Will Robinson, and I broke it down and was confirmed to be accurate. And something else happened. When I exposed that they were setting up Atari, a bunch of militia groups around the country attacked me. This is how you get the operatives to come out. Those are the federally run or infiltrated groups who don't want me there warning people. I'm all for the militia. I'm just trying to teach folks how to not get set up by letting your group be infiltrated and people trying to get you to do illegal stuff. And of course, feds are going to scream and go, no, don't listen to that. Let's meet secretly and build pipe bombs. The militia's in the First Amendment and the Second Amendment. It's in the 10th Amendment. I mean, it's all there enshrined in the Second Amendment more than even other areas, that we have this basic right to defend ourselves. I mean, the sheriff's posse is part of the militia system, civil defense. But when you want to creep around secretly, that's where the feds operate. So it also drew them out of the woodwork, and I've been proven right again. So let's go ahead and go to that video clip. Months and months before, look at the dates, before they actually set up Atari and brought them down. Here it is. Mr. Palehorse, good to have you on with us.
Thank you. This is an honor, definitely.
Now, why are you not protecting your voice here on the radio?
Well, really, you know, I get a lot of things on YouTube. Oh, the government knows who you are. You know, why are you covering your face? Why are you disguising your voice? And really, it was more, you know, I know the FBI and whoever wants, if they want to know who I am, they know who I am. And it was more or less as, you know, just to give the video mystique. And clearly it worked because I ended up on, you know, corporate news. So.
Well, let me just be honest with you here out of the gates. I told my staff as soon as they saw this last Thursday when you emailed us, well, I'd seen it Tuesday and Wednesday on national television everywhere, but then I actually watched some of your videos even before to ascertain and really assess from my research who and what you are. And then you contacted us, and I said, I need some more time to look into this. But either you were doing this to get attention, knowing that putting this mystique on it, as you call it, would make the media pick up on what you were saying because it was useful to them, or you are a Adam Gadon type Fed or foundation hired person meant to make the militias look dangerous and fringe and bad. Listen, I'm not trying to, listen, you may be a nice guy, and talking to you now, I'm not saying you're bad, and we all learn, we all try, we all grow. And so I'm just asking you this question. When you saw yourself on national television, on ABC and Fox and everywhere else, why do you think out of all the militia videos out there, they chose you?
I would say because the fact that my face is covered and because the scary voice modulator that I had on there, because it's kind of saying, you know, this could be anybody. This could be your neighbor. You know what I mean? And it's easy to point the finger at a guy with no face rather than, you know, a specific person.
Absolutely. I mean, you notice when we posted your video, we didn't make a judgment. We said, here's what Pale Horse has to say. It's just here on air, I'm trying to flesh this out. I'm not making a judgment of you. I'm telling you, we said either this is a guy who wanted to get his message out and knew this would be spooky, and it would, which you're saying is the case, and I tend to believe you, or this is ADL, Southern Poverty Law Center, or actual federal government, because the lighting, the way you have your lieutenant behind you, him wearing the gas mask, this is exactly how the feds would do it. I mean, this is directly with the proven fake Al-Qaeda videos and Adam Gadon and all of these. This is directly out of Central casting what you did. So you are a talented guy the way you did this. You know, with your, again, you look like a bad guy from a James Bond publication, from a James Bond movie. My issue is, I've always told the militia, you're constitutional, you're wonderful, you're the salt of the earth. We should be mainline and run for sheriff and have it be shooting enthusiast clubs. So any group that's hiding in secret and telling you to sneak around in the bushes with them, though, is going to be filled with feds, and they're going to try to provocateur you. Now, again, months before I'd attacked the group saying clearly they're feds, I was being nicer there, but you can find all those videos on YouTube. The opposite of people wearing masks and in the video you saw, you didn't hear the audio, but he's like, attention feds. It's all designed to make militias look silly, whether he meant that or not. But it turned out there had been multi-year-long investigations of the group he was in before I ever even covered it. So we know infiltration is there. Out of over 2,000 militias, how did I call it? I could see it, the central casting. Now, the opposite of these militias that are kind of in fantasy land doing all this is the groups that go to public events with M16s and 45s on their side. And the cops come over years ago and would actually arrest them, and they would beat them in court. And now folks everywhere are open carrying and going through the attacks to prove my Second Amendment is legal. Stop acting like it's illegal. Like 20 years ago, everybody had guns in their gun rack. Cops kept pulling people over, harassing them. People backed off, acted like their guns were dirty. Now the guns are back in the gun racks. That's how you do it. Like I'm doing. I mean, I've got quite a few firearms. We'll just leave it at that. I can skin a buck, run a trot line. Folks, I can shoot the same hole at 200 yards with my Remington 700. I'm all into guns. I'm all into using them to defend myself. But that's for later if we fail. And they try to, come arrest us and put us in these FEMA work camps. I don't want it to go to that. I don't want it to go to that. I want to fight now with ideas, because the pen is mightier than the sword, before we get to this. And it's always Fed-run groups who are like, shut up, Jones. The time for talking's over. Time to start killing. And I'm like, really? You wouldn't be allowed to say that unless you were a Fed. I remember every week for more than a decade, Hal Turner, in fact, pull this up, I forgot to tell you before the show, Hal Turner, FBI informant, national security. Hal Turner, white supremacist, all this stuff. He'd get up on the radio and go, Alex Jones is a traitor. He's not for war. I say, murder all these judges. This is Hal Turner saying this for the Southern Poverty Law Center, ADL, or Media Matters, cuts it out of context. Hal Turner, the FBI operative, national security level, highest level operative, not agent, but operative. National security run out of the president's office. That came out in federal court. He pled it. It was true. Feds still sent him to jail, flushing their own turd. I hate to be gross. The only way to describe him, though. A turd is still a turd by any other name. So you've got all of this going on. There's INFOWARS.com. You can click Chicago. Oh, really? The link is dead when you click Chicago Breaking News Center. That's why we tend to write our own articles and save that. Well, it's in the federal court record. The point is that it came out in federal court. The feds admitted, yes, he's our national security asset. The issue was he'd threatened state judges and said kill him, and the states went after him. So the feds had to take control of it to then manage it. But the point is,